Today we're going to work on authors' structural decisions and their effects on you as the reader. The first thing I want you to do is write down a quick argument in this box. What is one thing you might want to convince someone about? Right? So maybe you're trying to convince a parent, a teacher, or a friend, or I don't know, but what's an argument you might make? Pause the computer while you're writing this. The argument that I'm going to write is, I'm ready to drive. Right? I know you guys are about to get your licenses and you probably feel like you're ready to drive. Okay, so that's the argument. Now, if I'm going to try to convince Dr. Stewart of this, I might talk to her differently than I talk to my best friend or than I talk to my brother. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this argument that I have up here and I'm going to craft it and structure it in a way that appeals to my three different audiences. So if I was talking to Dr. Stewart, she's focused on school, so I'm probably going to say, I'm an honors student. Therefore, I'm responsible enough to drive. Okay? Don't write this down because you're going to revise your argument up here in a second. Now, if I was talking to my best friend, he doesn't care or she doesn't care that I'm an honor student, right? I might say something like this. Don't believe me? Give me your keys, right? Put kind of like a challenge out there because that would work with my friend. Now imagine you have a little brother who's only in first grade, right? He's not going to work with the challenge. It's not going to work to tell him that you're an honor student. So I'm going to maybe hook into, Mom said it was okay, so let's go for a drive. Right? Making him feel like Mom said it's okay, so we can do it. If you've noticed, I'm making the same argument, I'm ready to drive, but for three different audiences. So therefore, I've structured it a little bit differently. So what I want you to do is to take your argument from up here and restructure it for Dr. Stewart, for your best friend, and for your imaginary little brother who's only in first grade. Pause the computer while you work on this. Now we're going to take our notes for what, why, and how. Right? We're talking again about structural choices. So what are structural choices? It's pretty simple. They're choices authors make about how to format a text. Why do they do it? Different choices result in different meanings for the audience, right? So they do it to create meaning. And how do they do it? There's a lot of ways that they do it. So I'm actually going to just give you, say, see below. So I want us to look down here. Here's how authors structure text. They might manipulate the order of events in a text. They might manipulate the time, like flashbacks, foreshadowing, slowing down. They might change capitalization, punctuation, syntax or sentence structure, spelling, diction, which is just word choice, the word you choose to use, imagery, which is painting a picture, or figurative language like metaphors and simile, or allusions, when you refer to something outside of the text that we all know. So this is how they do it, and then these different structural decisions have effects on the audience, right? So they might make you feel mysterious or tense or surprised, or you might laugh or be angry, all right? Now it doesn't go straight across. Order of events doesn't always make you feel a sense of mystery, right? Any single one of these decisions could have this type of effect on you as a reader. So summing it back up, authors make choices about how to format the text in order to create meaning. And there's a variety of ways that they do that. Here's how we are successful today. Right? You're going to accurately identify at least one structural decision made by the author, analyze its impact on the meaning of the essay, cite one piece of evidence to support your analysis of her choice, and fully explain how it supports your analysis of Shakur's meaning. All right. So now I'm going to show you how to do the graphic organizer. You're going to take your claim from the other day. So I just handed this back to you, so you should be able to find this in your notes from the other day, and you're going to write your claim here. So I'll go ahead and write down the claim that I had from the other day. Shakura argues that Black people should wage war against the wealthy, the government, and anyone else who tries to hold Black people back. A fancy word for that is oppress, right? So this is the claim that I came up with the other day. You should have written whatever claim you came up with here, right? Then I'm going to look at the text. So you also need your Shakur article out in front of you. Pause the video if you don't have it right now. So when I look at this first part, Black brothers, Black sisters, I want you to know that I love you and I hope that somewhere in your hearts you have love for me. One thing that I immediately notice is she doesn't capitalize the letter I. So her structural decision there is not capitalizing the letter I. Oops. And the evidence that I'm taking is this very first line. I see it right here. All right. I want you to know that I love you and I hope that somewhere in your heart you have love for me. Now we have to figure out, why does she do this? What's the effect on you? So I can go back up here and look at these different effects. All right. Maybe it gives me some confusion, or maybe she's trying to get a reaction out of me. All right. So I want to think about, what's the purpose here? And so I kind of wonder, when I read the whole text, I think that the lowercase I suggests that Black people aren't viewed as equal in American society. Right? So maybe like the fact that it's lower because Black people are of a lower class in our society. Okay? So you should take these notes on the first line of your graphic organizer, right? Because I'm giving you the first one here. Now, if you don't want to put this entire quote, that's okay. You can just do, actually here, let's just do this little bit. And remember, when we cut something out, we can go dot, dot, dot. All right, so now it's your turn. You're going to go back through this, and you're going to find 3 more structural decisions, the text that backs it up, and talk about what's the effect, how does it impact you. I'm going to give you some hints here. Well, right, the first thing I want you to look for, repetition. Okay, so you can write that down. Look for it and explain, what does she choose to repeat. The next thing I want you to look for, spelling. All right, and that just leaves you with 1 more to find totally on your own. So look for an example of repetition, a phrase that she repeats over and over. Put the text here, explain why she does it. Look for something she misspells. Put the text here, explain why she does it. And then find 1 more structural choice. And again, you can find those on the front page here. Put the text and explain why. When you get entirely done with this graphic organizer, you're going to move on to your exit ticket, where you're going to be looking at a structural decision the author makes in your independent reading book. Use this as your model, but complete it here over your independent reading book. All right, thanks guys.